You've been bugging me about this car, if you will, for a while now. The Polaris Slingshot SLR.
It's an autocycle.
It's an autocycle.
Let's call it what it is. It's an autocycle. It's a cross between an automobile and a motorcycle.
Right. And so you've been driving this thing around. What's been the reaction from people on the street, your friends, your neighbors?
You get high fives. People want to reach out the window and give you a fist bump. It's insanely fun. Totally impractical. It's got 2 wheels in the front, but just 1 in the back.
Let's go check that out. This thing is a 330 20-inch tire. It is massive.
Yeah, it's massive. Well, it has to do the job of 2 tires, right? That's also the drive wheel. There's only 1 drive wheel, and that is the only thing that's pushing you forward. So that's another reason it has to be fast.
A rear-wheel drive car with just 1 rear wheel.
Right, which makes it an autocycle, not a car.
Right.
Stop calling it a car.
Vehicle, it's a trike, whatever you want to call it. Let's hop in, let's go for a ride.
It feels like a go-kart. It's got like this go-kart cage. There's obviously no door. Oh yeah, and there are seat belts. They latch from the opposite side. Okay.
Let's do this.
I like the sound of that.
Hi guys, we're actually in the podcast studio here. We had some audio issues with the Slingshot shoot. It was quite loud and noisy and windy and bumpy, so unfortunately, we're gonna have to do our notes here. So, Rick, you hopped in first. What'd you think?
Well, my first impression upon looking at us driving the Slingshot is, at first I think we look like a couple of badasses, and then I think we just look like total idiots. By the way, my helmet is at least 17 years old. I got this when I bought my last motorcycle in 2001, which I never should have bought. That was a midlife crisis purchase while I was getting divorced. My 3rd midlife crisis. I've only had 2 or 3 since. I'm up to maybe 6 or 7. Our whole sort of experience with this thing was, you love it on first sight. It's so cool looking, like the Batmobile. It's unusual. You've almost never seen anything like it. And then after about an hour, you're like, man, my back hurts. It's windy. I got bugs up my nose. What am I doing here?
Well, there's no windshield, right? Look at us. We're just kind of in the open air. You hear everything.
Yeah.
It is loud as hell in that thing.
Say it again. I can't hear you.
The interesting point about the car is it's actually wider than a Corvette Z06.
Because the front tires need to be spread out further in order to provide the stability you need to, get around curves with only 1 wheel in the back. I mean, that is a weird and actually a fun sensation. When you're looking at that, then you think it's going to tilt in the back. You feel like you're going to lay down the back, right? But you never do. I really did love the driving dynamics. By the way, so we're looking at a point here where we were at a stop sign, and this guy and his wife in a Subaru were delighted to see the Slingshot, and they wanted to ask us all about it.
And the thing is, look, this thing sticks out like a sore thumb. I mean, it is just so out there looking.
If you want attention on the road, this will get it for you.
So when I was driving this thing, I thought it was a pretty raw, rough experience.
And it's supposed to be.
The steering's heavy. The brakes are heavy. It doesn't exactly handle that well, I didn't find it. That being said, it's a very visceral experience. I liked it. You know what? I had a fun time with it.
Yeah, those things are all true. But as I'm looking at this, we were driving around on a really nice fall day on nice roads where we weren't getting stuck in traffic. We were enjoying some curves. This is definitely a fun thing to pilot. Look how happy I am.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm on a roller coaster with my arms up in the air.
This thing's around $30,000.
This model, you can get it cheaper.
Yeah. So what do you think? First of all, would you recommend this? And second of all, is this kind of the next best thing for people who are used to motorcycles and want to kind of, tail it back a little bit?
I guess so. One thing I will say about motorcycles, they're fun to drive.
Yeah.
But it sucks being on the back of a motorcycle. You have no control. You feel like you could go flying off at any moment. This is way more comfortable. So
for a passenger, yeah.
Yeah. So let's say you're a guy who likes to go motoring for an hour or 2 on Saturday. You might get your wife to go along with you in this thing. I suppose if you have disposable income and you like toys, and you have a let's say a 6-car garage, this could occupy like the 5th or 6th spot in a 6-car garage, right?
Yep.
It's cheaper than a boat.
Yeah.
But I'm glad things like this exist. I'm glad that some company decides to let the engineers dream this monster up. because it's fun to see, it's fun that it exists, and there's a creative element to it. And like I said, I like the driving dynamics.
I'm with you. I think it'd be cool to see where this kind of autocycle trend goes next.